Radio Educación was created on November 30th, 1924, from the initiative of José Vasconcelos, the Minister of Education. It aimed to seize the potential of radio as a media to the service and benefit of the educational and cultural purposes of the country. The new radio station began broadcasting under the acronym CYE, Culture and Education, with the opening speech of President Plutarco Elías Calles. After overcoming various setbacks due to political and administrative events, the radio station began a new phase in 1968. The station, now ascribed to the General Directorate of Audiovisual Education of the Ministry of Public Education, resumed its broadcast through 1,060 kilohertz of amplitude modulation under the acronym XEEP. Currently, Radio Educación is a decentralized body of the Ministry of Culture, whose fundamental work consists of promoting and spreading the educational, cultural, and artistic expressions of Mexico through radio. It oversees the broadcast of 5 signals, 3 in Mexico City, 1 in Yucatan, and another 1 in Sonora. In addition, it broadcasts and generates content for digital platforms and social media. The sound archive of Radio Educación is made up of its production and music collection, as well as external productions. In particular, the production fund contains 100,000 documents in 71,000 open reel tapes, 30,000 compact discs, and 3,000 cassettes and DATs, in addition to 5,200 native digital documents. There are currently 9,000 digitized programs from open reel tapes and 8,500 programs extracted from compact discs. The digitized files and digital native add up to 22,700 documents that represent 19% of the collection. The collection is made up of documents produced from 1969 until this date. The growth of the sound archive is constant, since more than 1,500 hours of audio are produced annually, representing 1 terabyte of data. It's important to take into consideration that nowadays productions are mostly made in 44.1 kilohertz and 16 bytes. There are 3 conservation areas that have 2,678 linear meters of fully occupied shelves. Monitoring and control of temperature, as well as relative humidity, is carried out. The renovation of the air conditioning and lighting equipment is urgent due to its obsolescence, in addition to the installation of a firefighting systems, since we only count with fire extinguishers. At the moment, there is 4 terabytes of space on the server where a part of the documents are stored. Unfortunately, there is no redundancy. Another part is stored on external hard drives that have their own copy. With the pandemic, it was finally possible to leave the compact disc as a means of recording production. This situation forces us to find the mechanisms to establish the storage system that the institution requires. Although it is urgent to work on the retrieval of documents that were recorded on compact disc. In 2006, a project to digitize the sound collection of Radio Educación was implemented and finalized in December 2008. Around 60,000 open reel tapes were digitized. The audios were placed in a digital mass storage system that uses LTO3 tapes. The cataloging of these materials was carried out using the TransCore application. Both systems did not receive adequate support nor necessary updates, and therefore crashed. Of this digitation work, 30,000 low-resolution files are preserved for consultation. Occasionally, they have been used for broadcast or productions. However, they do not meet the preservation characteristics. Likewise, the LTO3 tape cassettes and the server are preserved without being able to reactivate. Work is being done with the Fonoteca Nacional for the digitization of open reel tapes, and the institution is also carrying out some activities to advance in this matter. The cataloging process has various stages. After leaving the paper files and the digital tools, Witnesses and Transcore, it was decided to use Excel for its compatibility with SQL-managed databases. In a trial stage, an inventory catalog based on languages such as HTML, PHP, and SQL was designed. However, these tools require growth, updating, and administration, and unfortunately, there is not enough staff to carry out these activities. Finally, after testing other applications, several trials have been made with Digitization, which is a plugin for WordPress, both free software tools. Likewise, it uses a database supported in SQL and PHP. The entry of documentary information is done through Excel tables in CSV format. The cataloging criteria are based on the Mexican standard. The cards have 21 fields, of which 12 correspond to Dublin Core. After the trial stages, in which tests were carried out to evaluate Digitization, 3 more stages are considered. Open Catalog to Radio Educación users, in process. Open Catalog to general public, in the future. Linking the catalog with the audios for consultation and eventual download, in the future. Radio Educación inventory productions is 90% complete. The cataloging of first and second level have a 70% progress. Through the Content Endowment program, Radio Educación shares its productions with a significant number of public radio stations in the country and others abroad. In addition, it receives requests from researchers, students, teachers, libraries, and even social rehab centers. Between 2013 and 2022, 138,000 audio files have been delivered. This has been possible thanks to the use of digital files. It is also important to point out that in 11 years, we shifted from making copies on a compact disc to using only applications such as WeTransfer, MediaFire, OneDrive, or access to the Radio Educación server through FTP protocol. The access of general public to the files is through a repository in which the productions and/or broadcasts of the past year are offered. If a program prior to this period is requested, a direct application is made to the sound archive. It is required to have the appropriate storage systems scalable under an effective upgrade plan. Audio standardization is required in 48 kHz and 24 bytes. The widespread use of the compact disc is one of the reasons that explains recordings in a lower standard. Cataloging work must be maintained and strengthened. It is necessary to continue with the digitization process based on clearly defined priorities, policies, and projects. Radio Educación has grown significantly in the past 5 years. As of 2017, FM stations in Mérida, Yucatán, Mexico City, Hermosillo, Sonora, and soon in Morelia, Michoacán, were added to the AM and shortwave stations in Mexico City, which brings us to reflect upon a profound rearranging of its different areas. In particular, the Music Programming and Sound Archive Department has 2 fundamental tasks. Ideally, at some point, these activities would have to be separated due to the demand of resources that each one of them requires. On one hand, the task of musical programming, which aims to generate differentiated content for each signal, and on the other hand, all the management work of the existing sound heritage, the one that is produced currently, as well as the one that each of the new stations will produce later on. In addition to the financial and material resources that the future task involved, it's important for the existing team of sound archive and documentalists to include a person from the IT area and another one from the archival library science area to attend specific conservation and documentation of digital files. Regarding digitization, the integration of an engineer dedicated exclusively to these tasks is necessary, since it currently depends on the availability of recording studios. Last but not least, it will be essential to continue with the training and professional updating of the personnel who currently works in the music programming and sound archive department.